They taught you to read, to write, to memorize, to obey. But did they teach you how to live, how to doubt without fear, how to fall and get back up, how to look inside yourself without running away, how to simply be yourself? School may have given you formulas, dates, rules, but did it ever teach you what no textbook can? How to become a free, complex, and alive human being? We train minds, but rarely souls. We fill heads, but forget to make them think. With all the diplomas, programs, and rankings, we produce performers. But who teaches us to live consciously? Who teaches us to think for ourselves, to treat life as an experiment? What if modern schooling has lost its deepest purpose, not teaching us to succeed, but teaching us how to live? 5 centuries ago, one man saw this clearly. A man who made his life a laboratory, a thinker who didn't seek to be right, but to understand. He wrote, "A well-made head is worth more than a well-filled one." Michel de Montaigne, Essays, I, 26. That man was Montaigne, and today we're going to explore why his way of thinking, free, humble, experimental, might be one of the most valuable gifts we can pass on in a world that seems to know everything except how to truly live. Part 1. Who was Montaigne? A man who tried to live. Picture a man, born in a castle, raised speaking a dead language, yet becoming one of the liveliest minds in history. That man is Michel de Montaigne, born in 1533 into a noble family in southwestern France at Montaigne Castle in Dordogne. His father, a convinced humanist, had a rather radical idea for the time: to educate his son like a little Roman. From birth, he was spoken to only in Latin. No French, no local dialect, just the language of the ancients. Why? Because to his father, Latin was the language of wisdom, thought, and humanity in its highest form. Montaigne grew up in this strange mix between freedom and discipline, ancient texts, and direct observation of the world. And very early on, a seed took root in him, the seed of clear-headed curiosity, of a man who wanted to understand but refused to pretend he knew it all. A judge who leaves it all behind to think. He became a lawyer, then a magistrate in the Bordeaux Parliament, a prestigious, stable, respected position. But at the age of 31, he made a choice few would understand today. He walked away from it all. He retreated to his library, hung a sign above his desk, "What do I know?" and started writing about himself. But be clear, this was not a diary, nor a moral treatise. It was something new, undefinable, profoundly alive: the Essays. An open book, a never-ending work in progress, a project that imposes nothing but seeks everything. He wrote, rewrote, crossed out, and added until the day he died. I am myself the subject of my book. In a world of appearances, Montaigne made a radical choice: to speak honestly, reveal his imperfections, explore humanity in all its fluid complexity. I do not paint being, I paint passing. Essays 3:2. He didn't write to hand down a doctrine. He wrote to understand himself, and in that mirror, to help us understand ourselves. I am myself the subject of my book. Essays 2:6. That is his strength. He never claimed to be a master, a philosopher, or a model. He presented himself as an ordinary man, full of contradictions, anxieties, doubts, and in doing so, he became universal. A thinker of doubt, an anti-pedant, a lover of humanity. Montaigne didn't chase an absolute truth. He sought his truth within the flow of life. He doubted, changed his mind, sometimes contradicted himself, but he stayed loyal to the spirit of the essay as living experiment, a sincere attempt to grasp what it means to exist. He distrusted smooth talkers, dry theorists, closed systems. He preferred trial and error over certainty, observation over speculation, and above all, he favored real life over all the world's abstractions. The finest lives, in my opinion, are those that follow the common human pattern, orderly but without miracles. Essays 3:13. Montaigne might be the ultimate anti-influencer. No magic formulas, no lessons preached, just a man moving forward at his own pace with humility, inviting us to do the same, not to shine, not to impress, but to live rightly. And maybe that's the real purpose of education, to learn ourselves. Part 2. True education, shaping a human being, not just a scholar. We live in a world where knowledge and wisdom are often confused, a world where you can Google everything, but very few actually learn how to think. From school, we're taught to memorize, give the right answers, get good grades. But thinking for yourself? Doubting, experimenting, forming your own judgment? That's rarely taught. And this isn't a new problem. Back in the 16th century, Montaigne already sounded the alarm. We deliver our minds to the mercy of books. Too much knowledge, not enough wisdom. Collecting facts isn't enough. You can know everything about life and still not know how to live it. You can have a brilliant degree and be helpless when facing heartbreak, grief, or deep doubt. Montaigne saw this trap of dead scholarship, creating scholars, but not human beings. Better a well-made head than one well-filled. A well-made head is a free head, one that can reflect, step back, think independently, not just a walking hard drive. And for you, have you learned how to think or how to obey? Have you learned to question or just repeat? If this question resonates, drop a comment below. I read every single one carefully. Judgment before memory. For Montaigne, true education shouldn't create parrots, but beings capable of discernment. Education is not about filling a vessel, but lighting a fire. This is often attributed to Montaigne or Plutarch, perfectly capturing the spirit of the essays. And this fire is judgment, that inner muscle allowing us to resist the crowd, think beyond slogans, stay calm in a chaotic world. In Montaigne's ideal education, we teach autonomy, not conformity. We develop the ability to live, not just to succeed. We value fertile doubt, not rigid certainty. He should be able to judge the actions of others as well as his own. Essays 1:26. This flips the whole educational model, and you might sense this is exactly what we're missing today. Today, an immense pool of knowledge, but to what end? Never before has humanity had access to so much information. Yet, brilliant graduates lost when facing real life. Over-informed young people paralyzed by anxiety. Experts in their field, but strangers to themselves. Montaigne, without TikTok, podcasts, or masterclasses, had understood something essential. Learning is not about stacking data. Learning is about living better. And if you feel this message matters today, then subscribe, not to follow a master, but to keep thinking together. If you want more of us to question what it really means to be cultured, don't forget to like this video and especially share it with someone who might be succeeding in life without really living it. Part 3. Learning to live. Experience as the true school. Has anyone ever really taught you how to live? I don't mean how to succeed or win or check all the boxes. I mean truly live. To feel the emotions, face the doubts, know yourself, to fall and get back up, understanding something new. This kind of school isn't found in books. It's in life, in experience, in the body. And Montaigne understood this long before anyone else. The Essays, a personal laboratory. Montaigne didn't write a textbook. He didn't want to teach you anything. He tried. That's the key word, essay. He even invented the word for this kind of attempt. I am myself the subject of my book, Essays, Book 2, Chapter 6. He doesn't speak about life as a theorist. He observes his own, his fears, contradictions, joys, failures, griefs, aging, and from that comes a kind of wisdom, not universal, but human, fragile, clear-eyed. Montaigne doesn't tell you what to think, he shows you how to think for yourself, starting from your own experience. Experience as the only true school. Montaigne is clear. Experience is more important than doctrine. The greatest thing in the world is to know how to be oneself. Essays, Book 1, Chapter 39. And to be oneself, you have to live, not just learn. It's by facing reality that you discover what you really believe, what you deeply feel, what holds you up when everything shakes. Sometimes it's our hardest moments that shape us the most. A painful breakup can teach more than 1,000 books on love. Burnout can teach more than 10 productivity seminars. Loss, grief, questioning yourself reveals who you truly are. Montaigne got this deeply. He even had a simple formula. We must travel to rub and file our brains against those of others. Essays, Book 1, Chapter 25. Learning isn't about piling up facts, it's about rubbing up against reality, colliding, adjusting, discovering. Modern application, your life as a testing ground. Imagine this. What if every moment of your life, even the hardest, was an experiment, not a failure, not a mistake, an attempt to understand, evolve, refine yourself? You're not a finished product. You're a work in progress, and every experience is a brush stroke, a color, an imperfect line, but one you need. You don't become wise by reading about life. You become wise by living it. And Montaigne invites us to do just that, page after page. He says, watch yourself, laugh at yourself, fall, get back up, learn. It's a school of everyday life, a school without teachers, diplomas, or grades, but a school where you can truly become better. What experience has taught you the most in life? What moment shaped you, transformed you, awakened you? Share it in the comments. You'll see, putting it into words is already a form of growth. And if you believe this view of life as an ongoing learning journey deserves to be shared, like this video. Subscribe to get more inspiring and deeply human lessons. Because maybe what you're going through right now isn't failure. It's just an experiment, and Montaigne would have understood that better than anyone. Part 4. Doubt as a tool for knowledge. Nowadays, everyone has an opinion, and often a certainty, about everything: education, politics, morality, others, even themselves. But Montaigne, he would have smiled at this flood of absolute judgments. He'd probably shrug and ask one simple question: what do I know? That's his motto. 3 words that hold a quiet revolution. Doubt, not a weakness, but a strength. Montaigne doubts, not just others. He doubts himself first. He knows he's fallible, that his memory can trick him, that his ideas change. He knows he's influenced, limited, sometimes contradictory, and he accepts it. Better yet, he makes it his method. One must always grope and never stand too sure. Essays, Book 2, Chapter 12. Montaigne isn't cynical. He's not a relativist saying everything is equal. He's an explorer of truth, but a truth he knows to be fleeting, shifting, fragile. He doubts to seek better. Against simple thinking, embracing nuance. Even in his time, people loved dogma and easy answers. Montaigne resisted. He wanted nuance, complexity, the ambiguity of reality. He wrote, "I love simple and modest natures, but not simple minds." Essays, Book 3, Chapter 13. He wasn't trying to be right, he was trying to understand. And in a world where everyone shouts to defend their view, Montaigne chose to question. He didn't put himself above anyone. He observed, he asked, he doubted. It's a stance of humility, but also of clear-eyed awareness. Today's lesson: why fertile doubt is necessary. We live in a world drowning in certainty, a time when 280 characters judge a life. 30-second videos replace deep thought. Experts abound, often without real experience. In this toxic rush of snap judgments and online clashes, doubt, patience, and reconsideration become acts of rebellion. Doubt isn't backing down, it's keeping an open mind. It's avoiding arrogant stupidity. It's staying in motion. If Montaigne lived today, people might call him weak, but really, he'd probably be the clearest thinker among us. What about you? How do you relate to doubt? Ask yourself, do you really know, or do you just think you know? What if you made doubt a tool, not a barrier? A lever to learn, to listen, to grow. I speak to paper as I do to the first person I meet. Essays, Book 3, Chapter 9. Montaigne didn't write to convince. He wrote to understand himself, and maybe to invite you to do the same. Tell me in the comments, what certainty have you recently questioned? And what did it teach you about yourself? If you want more videos that help you think for yourself and break free from ready-made ideas, subscribe, hit the bell, and remember, doubt isn't a problem. It's a stance of strength, humanity, and wisdom. Part 5. Self-deprecation. The wisdom of being imperfect. Montaigne was also a master of self-deprecation. He never took himself too seriously. Quite the opposite. He laughed at himself, his little flaws, his contradictions. Montaigne, philosophy's original stand-up comedian. He openly talks about his stomach aches, his fears, his moments of doubt. He knew he wasn't a hero, a role model, or some perfect sage. He poked fun at his own inconsistencies the way you'd chuckle at a clumsy friend. Quote, "I paint not the being, but the passing." Essays, Book 3, 2. He wasn't trying to freeze a perfect image. He wanted to show movement, life, impermanence. Why is this so powerful? Because laughing at yourself is a kind of freedom. Freedom from the constant pressure to be perfect, to succeed, to never mess up. Montaigne reminds us that imperfection is what makes us human, and it's precisely through imperfection that real, gentle learning can happen. What it means today. In our world, personal development often feels like a race for performance. Be more productive, more zen, more disciplined. But deep down, we forget one essential thing. Don't take yourself too seriously. Self-deprecation is a powerful antidote to stress, guilt, and fear of failure. It's also a way to embrace your humanity with all its contradictions. What about you? Dare to laugh at yourself. Dare to own your weaknesses without shame. Dare to see yourself not as a fixed being, but as a work in progress. Share in the comments a moment when you managed to laugh at yourself, even in a tough situation. How did that change things for you? If you want more keys to break free from perfectionism and move forward with lightness, like this video. Subscribe. Share it with someone who needs to hear this today. Part 6. Living is experimenting. The essay as a way of life. The very word essay in Montaigne's sense comes from this simple but powerful verb, to try. The essays aren't fixed truths carved in stone. They're attempts, explorations, a personal journey. Learning to live means accepting the journey. It's not about reaching some perfect final ideal. It's about being always in motion, a work in progress. Feeling your way, making mistakes, correcting your course. It's about trying things out. Every day we live is a rough draft, an unfinished page, an experiment in progress. Instead of chasing impossible perfection, we can aim for a gradual alignment between who we are and who we want to become. Montaigne invites us to be our own laboratory. Quote, "Learn to live by living, not by judging yourself." True wisdom lies in experimenting, stumbling, and questioning. Share in the comments a life experiment you recently tried, even if it didn't go perfectly. What did you learn from giving it a shot? If this idea of trying speaks to you, like this video. Subscribe to stay inspired and share it with someone who needs a little encouragement to take the leap. In conclusion, how are you trying to live? In the end, true education isn't just about gathering knowledge. It's about learning how to live. To live means to experiment, to doubt, to know yourself and to constantly adjust. Wisdom isn't taught. It's discovered through trial and error, through moments of insight. To philosophize is to learn how to die. Montaigne, Essays 1:20. But today, we could also say to philosophize is to learn how to live. Tell me in the comments, what life experience has taught you the most? If this video helped you see education in a new light, please like it. Subscribe to Keep Trying to Live Day by Day. And share this video with someone who believes life is the greatest book of all. If this idea of life as an essay speaks to you, then you'll probably appreciate my video on Shunryu Suzuki and his concept of the beginner's mind. How curiosity, that ability to stay open and humble in the face of life, is true inner strength. I've linked it right here and in the description so you can keep exploring this journey of self-discovery and reflection. Thanks for spending this time with Montaigne and me. Remember, every day is a new page waiting to be written.